As we wrap up our look at training and development, we're going to look towards the future and see what trends are coming the way for training and development. Also, how is it going to change in the future? I think as you read through this chapter and listen to the lecture, you'll see that there's definitely a lot of similarities between training and development and education as far as the future and what changes are going to happen and how they're going to impact how that content is delivered. I think we're moving away from that classroom idea, especially with training and development. You're seeing less of the classroom and more technology. Certainly more technology being infused. We're moving more towards an individualized approach, and we're also being given a lot more options, just like as we see with this online course. You're seeing more and more of that individualized classes, access to the material anywhere. And as we go through this week, you'll get to see a few different trends and how they are actually impacting training and development. If we take a step back from training and development, just think about society in general and what has had probably the biggest impact on society, and you'd have to say it is technology, and technology has truly changed the way we live our lives. I flew out to a conference last week, and we're to the point now where our airplanes have Wi-Fi and you can access the Wi-Fi, and you can't go anywhere, you don't go anywhere without your phone, and it's always by your side, or you have a computer, or you have a laptop, whatever it is. It's really, technology is changing how we live, and that's definitely going to be reflected in training and development. And it's something that you're going to see trickle into each of these trends, is the idea that technology can be used to enhance the actual training and development process, and technology allows companies to do things with their training and development programs that wasn't possible 10 or 15 years ago. And it used to be that you had your traditional classroom and you would have your employees come to this classroom and you would have a presenter present information. That has changed, and we are more towards a point now where we can deliver content anywhere at any time on multiple applications to meet the needs of all of our different employees, our customers, whoever it may be that needs this training. The increased demand for training for virtual work arrangement is a perfect example of how technology is influencing training and development. We are no longer coming into work and working at our cubicle all day. Now we can work from home. We can work from mobile devices. We can access and interact with people across the country, across the globe. And the training and development programs need to reflect this. And in order to do that, number one, you have to be able to provide those programs on multiple applications. You have to be able to access it from a tablet at home, from your computer at work, from your mobile device, wherever you may be. And that can be difficult to ensure that we are providing effective training programs for everybody. The good thing about this is that it tears down a lot of those barriers, and it allows people to interact with each other that previously couldn't. Now you can set up these virtual work arrangement, and you can, if you are a customer service rep in Atlanta, you can work with someone who's a customer service rep in Seattle, and you can meet, interact, and actually learn together. You can actually develop training programs to meet those individuals. It allows for a more individualized training program and allows employees to access these at their convenience. As you probably have read, you see a lot of these end up overlapping and tying in together, which is really good, and it really shows the bond between these different methods and technology. Next we have the emphasis on speed and design, focus and content, and the use of multiple delivery methods. The future of training and development is probably going to go more towards shorter videos. I know in my face-to-face classes I try to have the videos short, precise, and deal with exactly what we're talking about. I think employees as well as students want that information instantly. They want it to be quick. They want to be able to watch a 4-minute video and then be able to actually go out and do something. And then to do that, you have to develop focused training sessions that are more individualized and that can be accessed when and wherever people want it. And I think that is something we are definitely moving towards. You're no longer sitting in a training session that you get very little out of. We just don't have the time for that. Companies don't want to spend the money to have you sitting there. So now we're trying to shorten those up, make them direct, and get to the point. Another future trend is the emphasis on capturing and sharing intellectual capital. What we are seeing with organizations that they are becoming more learning organizations, in that they want to learn, they want to grow by developing their employees, and organizations have found that through discussion, through collaboration but among employees, they can grow, they can share ideas, they can solve problems, and use these ideas to better the entire organization. Now, as previously noted, you can have somebody who is working in Atlanta work with somebody in Rome, work with somebody in anywhere in the country or the world, and they can interact, come up with solutions to problems. They can share, they can offer discussion, and they can help each other out. And the training and development can be molded around this to ensure that there is that opportunity for discussion, for collaboration, and for people to learn from each other to better the organization. Next, we have this idea of increasing the use of true performance support. And what we're trying to do there is provide support to specific situations and when it's needed to improve performance. People talk about doing this during work, just in time, or embedded learning, where the learning is embedded into your work. You're not taking a day to go to a training session. You're not learning about a process that you're not going to use. You're going to use this training on your job, and it's going to be just in time. Right when you need that, it will be available to you, and it can be embedded into the different technologies you use, and it can be accessible whenever you want. And then again, building back onto this idea of sharing intellectual capital, it's important to include social learning, where if I have a job and you have the same job, that we interact, we socialize, and talk about our issues, talk about how we can improve our performance. It's important with this approach that there is that connection to the experts, that if you have a question or you're having issues, there's an expert you can talk to who can give that to you. This is good both for individualized on-the-job training and also for collaboration, where you may work as a team to actually improve performance. Another future trend is the increased emphasis on performance analysis and learning for business management. The idea behind this is that learning is occurring to improve or enhance business performance. So what we're looking at, we're analyzing worker performance, and we are designing training and development around the gaps and deficiencies we find. What are the areas in which training and development can actually assist us with? This will usually occur on a as needed basis, and oftentimes these deficiencies or these gaps will arise, and then we can actually create training around them. The last trend we are going to talk about is the use of training partnerships and outsourcing training. Your book talks about the idea that you're going to see more and more of this, and I think it is an interesting topic, is the idea of developing training partnerships not only among employees but also customers and vendors. And the whole idea is that everybody gets on board and has an understanding of what is going on. The other outsourcing training is the idea that you outsource your training to another organization or a company that specializes in that training. Now, obviously, the issue with that is it going to be specific enough for what you are working on? The good thing is, as with all these others, that technology is making that more and more likely, and these outsourcing companies now have the ability and knowledge to make a more individualized training program that fits the needs of your specific company or organization. These trends are definitely impacting the skills and requirements to become a trainer. In order to go into this field, you need to be able to design customizable training and development programs around specific characteristics. Now, to do this, you need to know whoever that audience is. You need to know who you are designing this for. You also need to be tech savvy. Training and development is very tech heavy. You need to have that technology. You need to be constantly learning new technologies and being able to utilize them within your different programs. You need to identify multiple learning opportunities. You cannot just build a training program that works on a computer. It needs to also work on a tablet, on a mobile phone, and be accessible from anywhere. You also need to be aware of the needs of your learners and realize that you are looking at a diverse set of learners. Think about it, you're going to have young people, old people, experts, beginners, people who are really good with technology, people aren't, and you need to be aware of this and ensure that if they aren't learning the content, it's not because they can't handle the technology. The program needs to be job specific, easy to access and navigate, in order for employees to find what they need when they need it. We are moving towards that more individualized approach to training and development, and that on the job as needed. So you need to have those skills to develop these programs that fit each niche and are developed around certain jobs and certain issues and concerns. And then finally, you need to make sure that employees have the ability to collaborate not only among their peers but also managers and experts, and work together to solve problems. So those are what is going to be required out of a trainer in the future, and I certainly think that will continue to change as new technologies come along and change how we are actually looking at training and development.